Yeah, today we're going to be talking about looks. And I mean, this is just like obviously like, this is like an obvious topic, like we all kind of know. But it really just goes to show you that like looks matters first and foremost before anything else. Um, to such to such an extent, to such an unwavering extent, it's really wild. It's really just almost asinine, like how much it truly matters because your looks changes your like people's perception of you dramatically. Your looks uh changes people, like what how people perceive your quote unquote vibe, your personality. It changes how people respond and react to you. And it's just absolutely insane because I've been looks maxing for a long time now, and I was overweight, and I've lost a significant amount of weight. And I mean, I when I had a customer facing job, what would happen is I would like say hello to a customer that was like a girl, because you're kind of required to do that. And what I noticed that kept happening, like more and more, was girls would literally just ignore it, and I would say hello like twice, um, and they would ignore it. And it's like, okay, yeah, one time it's like whatever, you never know what that person, blah 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 blah, right? Maybe they have their headphones, whatever, or something like that, like whatever. But like when it starts to become a trend over like thousands and thousands and thousands of customers, and you start to see like the amount increasing dramatically, um, that's when like it starts to beg the question. It starts to like what caused like the change, like what caused like the amount of people ignoring your life and your humanity. Like what caused that, like why did you go from like a normal human that like is respected as a human to someone that like gets ignored, like. And I mean, that might sound insignificant and small, but like getting ignored by like hundreds of people on an ongoing basis over the course of like a long period of time, I mean, that will get in your brain. That will literally permanently scar you forever, you know? And it's because at some point you have to understand that these people are just simply not respecting your humanity. Like, if you see someone that's like paraplegic, or you see someone that is like, I don't know, like obese or something, or whatever it is, like, and they work some job or whatever, and they say hello to you, and you're like a customer, like, I mean, ignoring them, like, it's basically just like ignoring them as a human. Like they're not worth like your time, or like they're not worth like to even be responded to. Like they're worth absolutely nothing. And it's like that's a very incredibly demoralizing thing to have to go through. Um, and like I said, I've been looks maxing for over a year now, and I lost a ton of weight, like 60 pounds, and I kind of went back out there for the holiday, and was honestly just like, I don't know. This just really just reconfirms the black pill to another, to just a whole nother, even more exponential degree, because it's like, I don't know. I think I was probably like a low tier normie, you know what I mean, when I first started working, and then years passed, and eventually I gained a bunch of weight, and then I was like fat, so I was like, basically like a fucking sub 5. Um, and now I've lost like a lot of weight. Um, I'm not sure where I am. Maybe I'm just like normie or something. But like the response that I'm getting now is like insane. And yeah, I mean, it just reconfirms the black pill. Like literally, I did like a test on myself, like a guinea pig on myself. Like, okay, like I don't know why people like in general, men and women, mind you, not just girls, but men too, are not treat. When you're ugly, men treat you like trash. They treat you like you don't exist too, right? It's not just women. And so, um, yeah, I was like, okay, fine. Like, I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what changed. You know, like the red pill guys say, oh yeah, bro, like your personality, bro, like, oh your vibe is off, bro. Like you have to act confident, bro, and all that bullshit. Like, it's all irrelevant because the perception of others on you is literally like not solely based on your looks, but like a large majority of it is based on your looks. Like, if you're feeling down and you're like a decently attractive person, like, oh, they're just having a bad day. But if you're feeling down, you're like ugly. They're like, wow, that's a piece of garbage human. What a terrible person, you know. And it's like, and that's so real, so real. And yeah, like I said, I just did like a guinea pig on myself. Like, I don't know what's going on. You know, I don't know why like no one respects me as a human anymore. Um, and so after doing so much looks maxing, like, um, yeah, I can start to feel like people are respecting my humanity, like customers at the job. Like, I remember one girl was like, "Oh, you sound so mad to like have to, take care of me or whatever, or work with me or whatever, like a customer." And she was like a Becky maybe. Um, and hmm, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just like, oh no, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not mad. Like what? And like, she just kept like asking me questions and questions, and I just remember like a while ago, like that would never happen. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like literally, like she, is interested in having a conversation with me, and not the other way around. Like she's like trying to like 20 questions me, and not like me. Like I'm like basically scraping away at just getting a hello, like and it goes to show like, oh, the whole thing about personality, it's like that's bullshit because like she literally was like, oh, like you seem like you're not happy to even be around me. Like wouldn't that necessarily be like a bad personality, or wouldn't that necessarily be like a bad mood? Like that's what I'm saying, is personality or a bullshit, man. It's just so not true. Like the halo effect is so much stronger than any personality maxing like anyone could ever do. um doesn't even make sense. And so it's just like reconfirming the black pill at an exponential level. Like really, I mean, obviously, like other things matter, but like looks really is the only thing that matters, because without that, you literally have nothing without that, and that's like just a brutal reality. Without looks, you have absolutely nothing. And I don't know. I mean, at this point, I'm just like completely mentally scarred, from just living life, to be honest. And so I don't know what is gonna happen going forward. Um, but I would say that I still need more time to like kind of test this out and like see um, like the validity, because like one day is not really enough, because I'm comparing one day worth of data to like hundreds of days worth of data, so it's not really like a fair comparison. So I'd say like I really have to like test it out more and see. It could have just been that day because it was a holiday, right? So maybe they're more friendly or something. I don't know. But like it's a very drastic change, an incredibly drastic change. So I'm my the scientific process. You come up with a hypothesis, and my hypothesis is that this small sample data set is going to reflect a larger data set, because like even in those hundreds of days, there was never a day like that, even on a holiday, where like girls would like ask me questions or whatever, like like um yeah. And so I'm gonna keep testing it out to see. But um, yeah, I mean, I'm still not like a Giga Chat or whatever. I'm still not like anything like that. I don't think, at least. I'm probably like normie or something. Maybe, I'm not sure. Um, but honestly, like, it doesn't really matter what other people think about what you look like or like what your friends think. That's totally irrelevant. What your friends think is like so irrelevant. It's the biggest gaslight too. Like, they're always like, "Oh yeah, bro, you're so attractive, bro." It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you have no idea. You're telling me that when literally, like, I can't even get a girl to look at me. The only thing that matters is how women perceive you. That's the only thing that matters as far as your attractiveness. Because your friends are going to gaslight you, your family is going to gaslight you, random strangers that you ask, on the internet are going to gaslight you to like virtue signal. So it's all pointless. The only thing that matters is how people perceive you. Now, men too, but specifically women because they're going to go off of it even more so. Like, men are still going to, most men, they're still going to respect your humanity even if you're ugly, just because you're the same gender, so it's just a little bit different, right? Like, I don't think we need to get into that. It's pretty obvious. Like, women's main thing for guys, like the attractiveness and other things like that, where it's like for men the attractiveness is not really pertinent. It's not really important, um, because it's not like a mating thing. Obviously, like I said, not really something we have to get into, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so how men perceive you is also important. Don't get me wrong, but like how women perceive you is like exponentially important because they're more so going off attractiveness, much more than like a random stranger male would. Um, but but yeah, like, and you can't ask anyone. There's no point in asking people like, oh yeah, what do you rate me, bro, or do me a face rating or some bullshit like that. Like, that is all so irrelevant and pointless because like you should already know. You should already know what your attractiveness is just by like talking to people, just by like talking to strangers. You know, like there's no better way to understanding your worth as a human by talking to other people and seeing how they react to you. And if they react in a positive way, maybe you're not that ugly. If they react in a negative way, maybe it depends. But if they don't respect your humanity, I mean, that right there tells you all you need to know. If you're invisible, literally invisible, if say something to a girl like, hey, like, how's your day? And like you're working behind the register or something like that, or like, hey, what can I get for you? Something like that. And like she's literally just ignoring you, like literally just ignoring your existence, like, and it happens over and over again, like you already know, like they don't even consider you human. Like you're literally like a piece of furniture that doesn't get responded to. You're literally like a piece of machine on the wall, like a McDonald's auto checker outer. Like literally, like they're just plugging in their order for you. Like that's it. That's all you are. And that's how you know if you're unattractive. If people don't respect your humanity, or if like I mean, on the more deep end, like yeah, if you're like repulsing people or something like that, I would say that most aren't going to be that direct about it. Typically, they would kind of like do more subconscious level, or not subconscious, more like vague cues of like eyes away, backing away, leaving the situation because you're so ugly. I'd say that would be more common than like just someone like barfing in front of you or something like that. But yeah, I mean, doing face ratings, I mean, there's literally no point. There's no point because like for example, even if some like autistic retards on you know um, like some forum like tell you you're attractive or whatever it is, like you have to understand that like they're also inadvertently like they could have other um you know what's it called, they could have other like things behind them or whatever reasons to like why they answer, because I know for a fact there's guys that are like so salty that they're just gonna like improperly rate people just like to make other people feel bad, um and so just gaslight everyone, just yeah, and so you can't really trust any of that stuff, and it's also pointless, and here's why it's even more pointless, because a number out of 10 from a random stranger on the internet or your boy telling you you're attractive, it doesn't change your life, it doesn't affect your life at all in any way possible, like at all, it doesn't affect your life it changes nothing in your life at all, right? If your friend tells you you're attractive, but 100 women ignore you, you just got ignored by 100 women. You know, that's the reality of your situation. You got ignored by 100 women. If your friend tells you ugly, and 100 women like cold approach you or something crazy like that, then it's irrelevant what your friend said, right? Because your life is good, and women like you. So what your friend thinks, what an internet person, thinks, face rating, BS, it's all irrelevant because none of it truly impacts your life. And the best way to gauge your attractiveness is to have a high volume of strangers that you have to approach and talk to them. And so I don't know. I guess there's a million ways to skin a cat, but like in my opinion, like the best way to do it, to be honest, and one of my buddies told me this a long time ago. He used to get girls actually, and he would tell me I wasn't getting any girls, to be honest, but he was. He would tell me basically like talk to girls that are like forced to talk to you, basically like waitresses and stuff like that. And because like they're forced to talk to you, like that's a really good opener for like your cold approach, your game or whatever. And it makes a lot of sense. And so I think I agree wholeheartedly, because like going to bars is just cringe. And doing sidewalk day game is just like insane. Literally asinine. Literal gesture maxing to your retardation, to your shit. Like what girl is gonna like be like, oh wow, thanks so much for stopping me in the street, like that. No. But if she is like at a job or you're at a job and one of y'all is the customer and y'all talk to each other, like you already have rapport built up because like one of you is at a trusted place that you like to visit, or the other way around. And you're required to talk to each other, so there's going to be like an assumed level of respect, so she doesn't have to like think like, oh, this guy might jump me right now. It's like, no, like you're at a job, or no, like you're just shopping for like a t-shirt, you know what I mean? So the level of trust is there, the level of rapport is kind of assumed. So I think it's a much better way. And then the kicker to it all is that the volume is there. There's like an infinite amount of cold approaches that you get on an ongoing basis doing this. And if it is a job you have, then you get paid for it, which is nice too. Wherein if you're doing fucking cold approach at the mall or on a sidewalk, you're just wasting your time walking around for 4 hours like a retard. But at least like if you have a job, then like you're at least getting paid for that. And then obviously like, whenever you're going out, you just are talking to a girl in general, and so I think that's really the best way. I know there's other ways that I didn't mention, but I think that's the best way. And that aside, I think it's the best way to gauge your looks level, your attractiveness, because you can't just base it off of one person's opinion. One person's opinion is completely irrelevant and should be completely thrown out altogether without question. Because the only thing that matters is a high volume of strangers and how they treat you, right? How a high volume of strangers treat you. And I mean, you'll hear this, for example, like I remember he would say things like, just going to the grocery store, like people would like look at him with disgust or something like that. Like stuff like that. That is the only true way to gauge your attractiveness. The other things, I mean, it's mostly just asinine, jester max, tier clown BS, honestly. But yeah, so, and it's just wild because like my personality didn't change at all. My vibe didn't change at all. My aura didn't change at all. The only thing that really changed was my attractiveness, my body fat percentage, because I'm like lean max now. I don't have a full six pack, but I'm very, very close to it. So I'm very like lean, probably like 14% body fat. Because I've been like fasting hard and dieting and stuff like that. But that's the only thing that's really changed. I mean, I did also like style max and like get some clothes and stuff like that, but like even that is mostly BS. Because you can like wear a t-shirt and if you're attractive, you know, you'll do fine. So I don't really even fully believe style maxing is that important. It's important to a degree, but not. I don't think it's nearly as an important degree that people explain it to be. Because like um, you hear this. I remember hearing this for like a. I was watching some like designer ranking thing for like what was it, like Versace or like Balenciaga or something, and the guy was like ranking like every season of clothing or something or shoes that came out. And I just remember hearing it was either in that video or an adjacent video, basically saying that like for the fashion industry, like the clothing kind of comes second, like the model, the person wearing the clothes comes first, and it's like you know that makes a lot of sense. So it's like these very lean maxed, you know, people or these lean max guys, like they're gonna wear these absolutely ridiculous pieces of clothing that are like totally insane looking, and what makes the ugly clothing look good is the attractive guy wearing it. And I think that's a really important thing to, you know, think about because it kind of, in a way, disproves style maxing to some degree. I mean, I'm not disproving it wholeheartedly. I'm just saying, like, the relevance of it is not as pronounced as maybe some people might think it to be. Like, for example, your mom is like, oh, yeah, buy a really nice suit. You know, like something like that. It's like, no, like, kind of like a lipstick on the pig kind of mentality. Like, um, if a obese, you know, deformed guy has a suit, he's still like an obese, deformed guy. He's just wearing a suit today, you know. So, um, but yeah, I mean, I do think it's also not. There's like social aspects to what you dress, and like you have to dress for the occasion to not like look like an idiot, and things like that, or like dress to like show off status, and you know, there's stuff like that too. Um, but in you know, when the rubber meets the road, it's mainly just like your physical attractiveness, and that's it. But yeah, so a high volume of strangers, it's really the best way to gauge your attractiveness. And I don't know, from my experience, like um, I don't know, man. I mean, like I literally have just been like literally ignored. My humanity has just been disrespected for the longest time, I feel. And you know, basically nobody, you know, wants to like be around me, kind of thing, it seems. And then I basically just like looks max, you know, lean max super hard, kind of like just doing that. And I mean, it's still like I was saying, it's still difficult to gauge like my attractiveness or whatever. But like I think it's helped. I think it's helped. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's over. It's kind of like there's truth to it, but then it's also a meme factor, and it's like I'm not trying to just like be a meme over here. I'm just trying to like this is just my like therapy, you know, because it's just really difficult. I have no one to talk to, and all of my friends that I used to talk to about with this stuff, like they don't want to talk to me anymore because like they're tired of hearing about it. So this is all I really have, and it's like okay, I'm not trying to like say like I'm the ugliest guy on YouTube. Like I'm not trying to like get a pity party here. I mean, I'm genuinely just trying my best to ascend, and you know, with the cards that I was dealt, and they're not the best, they're not the worst. Um, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get shit on for like being too attractive or something, because like women aren't disgusted by me, but it's like I don't know, man. Like, look, I don't know. I'm just sharing my experience, and maybe there's people that can relate. Maybe there's people that'll shit on me for like, oh, you're not deformed in the face, bro. You can't even relate to me, bro. It's like, okay, yeah, that might be true. I don't know. Um, what I do know is that like I'm completely atomized and alone. I have basically no friends, basically no family, and no one to talk to. And the few internet friends that I did have, that I really don't have anymore, that I used to talk to about some of these things, none of them really want to talk to me about it anymore. So I don't really have anywhere else to talk about this. And I mean, it's basically like the most pertinent, most important thing in my life right now because like the way I see it, like nothing really else is worth living for if you don't have a girl. Like, I mean, it sounds really gay. It sounds really blue pilled and gay, but like when you think about it, it just makes sense. Like, and this is just really what I'm feeling. I mean, outside of religion, like, if we just like memory hold that, like, obviously, like, religion is going to be more important than women. Yeah, I agree. Um, but if we just memory hold that, outside of that, like, if you don't have a girl, like, you literally have nothing. You don't have a companion. You don't have like love. You don't have intimacy. You can't have a family, so you don't have legacy, right? You don't have legacy. You don't have people to care for. So, I mean, as a man, like, not having people to care for, it's very, um, I don't know what it is, but it just makes you feel like terrible and worthless, basically. Because, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's no point in like working really hard or going above and beyond or making a lot of money or any of that if like if all I'm gonna do is just like what, buy another watch or something. Like, no, I don't want another watch. Like, I just want like to hang out with a girl and have a nice conversation and I don't know, um just feel loved and appreciated and feel like I have someone to care for. And yeah, I mean, without any of that, what's the point of life? What's the point of living? Truly, like, I don't really see much of a point of living because everything else is kind of irrelevant if you don't have someone else to care for. Like, you think I work, 12-hour days so I can fucking pay rent? No. No, no, I don't. Um, I do it so I can, like, take care of someone else. And it's like, I don't have that as a man. Like a single man, completely atomized, with no real friends, no family. Like, I don't have any of that. So it's like, what's the point of working hard? What's the point of really anything without that? And it's just a hard thing to kind of come to terms with, and it kind of all stems just like sadly, like the sad, brutal reality of it is it all stems from just base level attraction. That's literally it. Um, I don't know. It's just wild because without that, you have nothing else. Without attraction, you literally have nothing. Like, there's no point. And I mean, I want there to be a point. I want to have meaning again. I remember, like, when I was younger, I felt like I had meaning and felt like, like, one day I would have these things. I would have a wife and kids, one day. And um, like, because when you're young, like, you can't really predict the future. But now I'm like older, and it's like I only have so much time left. I only have so much time left, and like I can't even get a text back. So it's like, how am I gonna go on assuming that I can get like a wife or a girlfriend or kids or anything like that when I can't even get a text back from like a land whale or something? Like, I don't know, man. I think the looks maxing is working though. I think that I might have a chance to ascend if I continue. Um, thankfully I'm blessed in the way that, like, I'm not deformed. So I think if I just get really lean, then that might be enough for me to ascend. Um, if not that, then like obviously like geomaxing on top of that, and I think that might do it. But the issue is that, like, getting to that point is very difficult. It's a very long road. Like, it's not like one day. Like, it's such a long road and it's so grueling and it's just very difficult. I don't know, man. I've gotten to some points, and maybe I'll talk about it another time. But I mean, at this point, like, with no like validation, like, it makes it hard to just even keep trying because you make all this progress and you don't see any real like changes from people's perception. For the most part, um, it's very difficult. Basically, well, no, you see people's perception change. Like, I remember some people at the gym told me, like, oh wow, like, you lost weight or something like that. But I mean, as far as like girls, like, you know, when I was 60 pounds heavier, I could never get a text back. Now, today, I'm 60 pounds lighter and I can never get a text back. So when it comes to that, it's like when you do so much for so long and the result is literally exactly the same, that's when it starts to become very demoralizing and difficult to continue on. Um, but yeah, I would say that's pretty much that. And for now, I'm gonna keep trying. Um, wow, some retard on Xbox Live. Yeah. For now, I'm gonna keep trying, and I don't know. I think there's still some semblance of a chance. But we'll see. All right.